Okay, so welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us. I am Priestess Osun Funke, and we will be joined today by our esteemed guest, Jamila Osset. Jamila, in addition to being a very close personal friend of mine, she is also an amazing spiritual coach. She is a life coach. She is one of my coaches and mentors. Um, she has a beautiful business that helps women realize their divinity, helps them apply that divinity in their own lives and in the world at large, and really discover their purpose and live in magnificence and majesty. I'm going to let her speak a little bit more about her business. After all, that's why she's here today. But the reason I brought Jamila to you all as a part of this series is because she is probably one of the most successful women that I know. She is a complete creator of her own reality. Jamila recently left the United States. In the middle of COVID, she just said, "Hey, I'm moving." She hopped on a plane and she moved to Africa. She lives like a queen in Africa. She has drivers and cooks and designers that make her clothes by hand. Um, she travels. She just is creating her own reality. And the bravery that it took for her to do that, everyone's saying, "No, girl, you're going to get sick. No, you don't know what's going on over there. What if you can't get back?" Just all of these things, every issue that a person brought to her, she knew that it was going to be overcome, that she could overcome it as a creator of reality, which is one of the things that, I want you guys to really begin to understand is that anything that you want to have or experience, you can just by virtue of your desire and a little bit of action behind it. And we're going to learn more about that tonight. Um, Jamila also offers international retreats. Okay, so and plant medicine ceremonies. So you're able to meet up with her and her group in places like Peru, in places on the continent of Africa, and fellowship and learn and grow. I have attended her workshops and her conferences and her meetups. She has been a guest at a couple of our initiations. This is before your time. I don't think there's anybody here that had the pleasure of being in one of her classes, but she's just an all-around amazing goddess. And every time, I introduce her to a group of women, they're always much, much better off for it and very thankful for having that experience. What else do I want to say about Jamila? She's just amazing. I just can't wait for you guys to reach her. To meet her. Now, I do want to let you know that she is in Nairobi, I think, right now. And that's another thing dealing with Jamila. It's like, where is Waldo? I never know where she is. She is in different countries every other week, but she's in Nairobi right now, I believe. So there's like a 6-hour time difference, y'all. So it's like 2 o'clock in the morning there. Um, and so I don't think that she's going to have her video on. Um, and we have some technology challenges, but she's going to be with us. You'll be able to hear her. She will send you or give you all her contact information so that you can reach her on Beyonce's internet and check out her site and enroll in classes if that's something that you're interested in. Um, and I think without further ado, I am going to hand the floor over to our esteemed guest. And y'all, this is my friend for real. Like, she's my friend, okay? Like one of my best friends. And so just know that I'm only bringing you the best. And I usually like to keep her as a secret weapon. But like I said, every now and then I'll bring her out and introduce her to people. So I'm doing that tonight. Y'all welcome. Um, Without further ado, Jamila, are you ready?
Born ready. Peace and greetings, everyone.
They're all
So
muted.
nice to be here. Okay, perfect. All right. Peace and greetings, everyone. So nice to be here with you all at 2:30 a.m. Nairobi time. What I want to do is I want to first start out by just taking a moment to connect with the group, connect with the class, connect with each other. So I know it is, I think, 7 o'clock or 7:30 there. But from wherever you are, I just want you to go ahead and put your pencils down, put your paper down, sit up straight, making sure your body just feels comfortable in this moment, because we can't talk about money, finances, wealth, abundance. We can't talk about that and be uncomfortable at the same time. So just making sure your body feels comfortable. And when you get in that comfortable seated position, just go ahead and close your eyes gently and take a deep breath in the nose, and then just release it out the mouth. Go ahead and do that again. Breathing in, releasing it out the mouth. And I'm breathing out so you know how to release and exhale, right? We don't need to do these little play exhales. So breathe in again, hold it at the top, just allowing yourself to be present in this moment. You're here, we're doing this, you're about to level up, and then go ahead and release. Good. Place your hand over your heart and just say, I'm open to receiving. I'm open to the next level of myself. I'm open to my abundance. Take one more deep breath in and release it. And you can drop your hands. You can open your eyes. All right. So we are talking health, wealth, and wisdom. And I want to start by first saying that, saying thank you to Priestess Osun Funke for bringing me on in the middle of the night. This is how I know that she loves you and she loves what she does, because ain't nobody finna call nobody internationally. She's had crises before and she's not called me. So the fact that she called me in the middle of the night to say, hey, I need you to come on and power up. That's a lot of love. That means that's big things. So I am just on the tail end of completing some really big things in Africa, here in Africa. I will say that it is an honor to be teaching now at this stage of my life about wealth and abundance and financial freedom and flow. When Priestess Osun Funke and I met years ago, we were both in very different places of our lives. And since our relationship, you know, we have both soared and risen over many challenges and many obstacles in all aspects of life, and finances are no different from that. I have just completed a 2-week, as in 14-day, luxury retreat in Zanzibar, which is in East Africa and Tanzania. And the theme, without even knowing it, was really rooted in African opulence. That was the theme of the retreat in Zanzibar. I will be doing the same thing in Mexico in March. And I bring these things up to start with because I want to just make it clear that if you are leveling up, if you are opening up to abundance as your birthright, you will need assistance. This is how you assist yourself in opening the door to living within that wealth. You open that door by experiencing these things. You open that door by experiencing that new level of finances in your life. We use words like rich, financial freedom, abundant, but what do they really mean to you? What does rich mean to you? Is rich a word that makes you feel yucky? When you think the word rich, is there a negative connotation that comes along with it? Is there a positive connotation? When you hear the words financial freedom, what does that mean to you? We know that there are certain circles of people who work in particular industries that use words like financial freedom all the time, and they could be associated with something positive in your life. Or, for me, when I hear financial freedom, I think about multi-level marketing, right? I think about those type of pyramid type of businesses that people use and promote alongside financial freedom. But the word abundance, this is a modern word that we are up leveling to. We've up leveled to words like manifestation, right? That's a new common word. That's a new positive common word. We're using words now that are buzzwords, but that represent something very new. What does abundance actually mean to you? How do you know when you've achieved abundance? How do you know when you've brought it into your personal experience, right? So abundance as a birthright is a new concept. It's a new phenomenon, right? Just like giving homage to our ancestors, right? Even though that is something that is centuries old, it's a newer phenomenon for our modern culture. It's new. The concept of lack, that's old. That's what we were programmed to connect to. We were programmed in the concepts of lack. We were trained to live in lack. We were trained to be comfortable with lack. And what does lack really represent? Lack represents fear. Lack just represents being afraid that you won't have it. I had a conversation with my daughter recently, and I said, "Hey, I need you to send I need you to send this, or to send me a package to Africa." And this is my teenage daughter. And the first thing she says is, "Mommy, I don't have money to send you a package to Africa." I'm like, "Little girl, first of all, who asked you for money to send me it?" Like, what? That presented something it was like an automated reply to an email. Like, I'm going to do this. Oh, well, I don't have money for that. That is what people have been programmed. That's what society has really programmed and trained the masses to be in: a state of lack, a state of fear about not having. One of the things that I have learned about lack is that it's really a myth. And I'm saying that with all sincerity. Lack is a myth, because very often people who are living in lack, they don't even have the awareness of what it is, what the responsibility is in association with what they want. The belief system is always, "I don't have." That is their belief system, the lack-based belief system. Abundance is the opposite of that. It is the opposite of that. And I want to just ask the audience, I want to ask you all, when we get to the end, I want you to be thinking about what abundance really looks like, feels like for you. So I want you to be thinking about that even while we are going through this particular workshop, because at the end, I'd like to hear from you, in addition to questions, I'd like to hear what that represents itself like to you in your world. So we are trained to live in lack, and we are trained to be in that state of paralysis and that state of fear when it comes to finances and anything money. And I want to just take a moment to highlight the fraud in that training. The perpetuators of that training are the same ones who trained you to forsake your ancestors and abandon your power, right? So these are the same people who told you that to be in the place where I am right now is dangerous. It's not safe. They taught you that, Africans are savages and cannibals and etc. When every Sunday, the first Sunday of every month, there's a whole level of symbolic spiritual cannibalism taking place with, eating the body of Christ and drinking the blood, right? So these are all things that kind of make you say, wait a minute, what's going on here? Are we cannibals or are we not? Right? Because you call these people, but then here you are first Sunday and it's spiritual and it's symbolic. So that's something to also notate. But for all of you, and I am thinking that all of you are, of course, aware of the power of connecting with ancestors and the power of just taking time to venerate the souls and the spirits of those who are vying for you, who are working on your behalf, even in the spirit realm. And the same people who taught you this lack, who are the same people who taught you to forsake these ancestors. And yet these are the same people who have continuously honored their ancestors, continuously honored their ancestors. They name halls after their ancestors, schools after their ancestors, centers. You got early learning centers named after people's ancestors and not people who look like you and I, right? These people are the same people who are honoring ancestors by making statues, carving their ancestors into the side of mountains, right? All of these things are connected to abundance, because when you take that time to really understand the power that you are, to understand the connection that you have to all things, to understand that there is no lack, there is nothing to be afraid of, there is no shortage of anything. When you really understand those principles, then you understand why there's been a concerted effort to keep you from honoring those who will then turn around, honor you in frequency, at an energetic capacity, at a spiritual capacity. I am here in Africa because I honored my ancestors. I'm here because I was guided to be here. And for all intents and purposes, when I got here to Africa, what was most significant to me, this little Black girl coming from, the United States of America. I am Trinidadian American. Both of my parents are from Trinidad and Tobago. And we grew up in an abject state of poverty. My Priestess Osun Funke knows my grandmother's story very well. My grandmother migrated to the United States of America with nothing but the clothes on her back. She didn't have any resources there, and she spent the first 2 years of her life in the United States scrubbing floors, mopping floors, cleaning white people's houses, taking care of people's kids. And the way my grandmother was set up, she cleaned, she mopped, she was a caretaker for those years. When that time was completed, she sent for her children, the first three, she had 6 children. She sent for 3 children to come on up. She continued to work. She worked day jobs, she worked night jobs. And this is a Black woman living in Brooklyn, New York during the 60s, during the 70s. Okay. My grandmother was working 2 jobs. She managed to save enough money to buy a house in an area that Black people didn't live in. Black people didn't live in Jewish neighborhoods. But my grandmother was like, let me tell you something. I got to have a house for my children. And I got to have a house in a nice area where we can be safe, where we can thrive. She bought her house and she sent for her other 3 children. And then she sent for her mama to come on up from Trinidad as well. So she bossed up and took care of everyone. She took care of everyone, and yet she did not do so from a place of abundance. She did so from a place of scarcity. She did so from a place of fear, from a place of having to work very hard. And abundance is a newer modern phenomenon because it involves having everything without having to bust your ass and sacrifice in the process. That's the point. That's the point. We all have been exposed to hard work. We have all been exposed to overworking ourselves. We have all been exposed to putting in the work, putting in the toil, putting in this, doing that, waking up early, staying late, showing up. We have all been there. And the truth is that you could be there fully, be in that workspace fully, and all you're doing is sacrificing. That's sacrificial energy. That is sacrificial energy, and that is what we are moving away from. When you, and I want you to think about it like this. If this is going to provide more clarity. Sacrificial energy is to lack what giving joyfully energy is to abundance. Okay. And I was an English teacher in my past life. So, but sacrificing, when you have to give somebody something and you don't feel good about giving it to them, then they come with a little attitude. I got to get it. I got to let this girl stay in my house because this is my cousin. This is the right thing to do. That energy is the energy of lack. It's the energy of fear. It's the energy of everything on that side. And we are shifting. You are shifting over to the energy of abundance, of giving from a place of joy. I'm happy to do it. It is my honor. It is my pleasure to serve you. And, one of the things I was saying about me arriving to Africa is I am enamored with how when I arrived here, when I got here, I entered through Egypt. And so my experience has been very, very, I've had a variety of experiences. So I went through North Africa, in Egypt. I went over to Senegal. I migrated down to Gambia. I went to Ghana. Went to Togo. Went to South Africa. Like I've been around the continent, and I am always amazed. This is one thing that amazed me very early, and I continue to be amazed by the amount of white people that I see in Africa all the time,
Yes.
everywhere.
Yes.
Always amazed, always amazed. And let me tell you why it's amazing to me. It's amazing to me because Africa itself is a resource that represents international abundance. Africa, the whole continent. We're not talking about any one country. We're talking about the whole continent. Okay, if you look on my picture, on my profile picture, there is a whole tattoo over my heart of the continent, because the continent itself represents abundance. And they scared Westerners, Black Westerners, from ever wanting to come to Africa. Scared. Oh, I can't go. That's the fear. They made Black people very afraid to come to Africa because they never wanted you to experience what they experience every single day, every single week, every single month being here. They never wanted you to experience any of this. They scared you from your storehouse. They scared you from your treasure chest. They scared you from your spiritual ocean of wealth because they never wanted you to have access to any of that, baby. They never wanted you to be in a place where you could say, yes, I'm happy to fly myself out, and I'll actually fly you out too. They never wanted that. They don't want to be looking eye to eye with you. They like having their first class boardrooms exclusive. They like having their first class exclusive. Many of the people that I've met here, who've met people from all over the world, many of the Africans that I've met, they've had not yet to experience meeting African Americans. I'm one of the minorities that they've met. And these are people who work with those who travel all year round, and they still don't meet many of us because they scared us. They scared you. They scared the masses into thinking that this is something that's not for you. And that is how lack works. It taps into the energy of fear. It keeps you afraid. Lack is a flex. It keeps you afraid of what is already yours. It's yours. So I want you to think of it in the way that it actually is. Think of it in this way. And we're spiritual women, so we're gonna think of it and use spiritual examples and just tap into what it is. Think of it like the way my grandmother worked really, really hard to bring all of her family members in, right? To make sure that everybody was taken care of and everybody was accounted for. I want you to think of that in terms of your ancestry. I want you to think about the fact that you have thousands of ancestors, and I want you to imagine your ancestors busting their ass. Busting their ass. If you ever need a reference to what it looks like when a Black woman busts her ass, just at any moment, Google a picture of Harriet Tubman. At any moment, Google a picture of Sojourner Truth so you can be reminded of what it looks like to be in the struggle. And whenever you're thinking like, I don't have money for that, I want you to remember that these women, your specific ancestors, that they busted their ass so that you wouldn't have to, that they've already done the work. They've already done the work. Give thanks. They've already done the work. They've already done the work. Somebody somewhere has already done the work and already created a storehouse. When you think about all of this, I want you to really just to be in that place where you're thinking about what sacrifices have been made. What sacrifices have been made. What these women have had to do. Whether it be sacrifices just with working, sacrifices with children, sacrifices with mates, right? So understanding that the work has already been done for you is one really big piece of accepting abundance in your life. Understanding that this has already been done on your behalf, right? So earlier on, and let's just shift back. So let's go back to the question initially. I asked, what these words mean to you? When you think about where you want to be financially, where you think about how you would describe that. So I always use the word wealth because wealth is the best way I know to describe myself, to describe my financial status, to describe my status when it comes to abundance and finances. It's always, well, now it's just wealth. What does wealth look like for me though? Wealth is different for everybody, just like riches are different, right? Just like financial freedom and the key words that I mentioned earlier. Wealth in my life looks like balance. It looks like harmony. It looks like freedom. It's flow. It's liberation. If I'm inhibited, if I'm not able to do something that I want to do, then I am not living my best wealthy life. I'm not living in that wealth. And if I have a desire and I'm not able to fulfill it, I'm not operating in my highest zone of wealth. So wealth to me is that flow. It's that fluidity to be able to do what I want to do. Most people can't fathom the idea of moving from one state to another. There's a fear, right? A lack of fear when it comes to that. Me moving from one continent to another continent, moving from one hemisphere of the world to another hemisphere of the world, that is my embodiment of wealth. I didn't come here and it's funny because that word bougie comes up for me when I think about it. Here on the continent, as Priestess mentioned, I've been very committed to living a first class life. I tell everybody anytime I encounter something that it's not in alignment with who I am, I remind them that I did not come to Africa to struggle. I didn't come here to be on no bullshit. I didn't come here to no. I didn't come here for that. That's not what we're doing at this stage in life. So everything for me has been at that first class level. It's been at that level of luxury. Luxury is very important to me. It's one of my values. It's one of the things that I value. If there's an option between this and that, if this is luxurious and makes me feel good, then I'm going to choose the luxurious option every single time. I almost said the luxurious opulence, and that too, every single time, every single time. My retreat, and just to add this on the tail end, I facilitate breathwork ceremony, plant medicine ceremony, and lead international retreats. One of the things that is very, very important to me, and this is what I say, about my guidelines in being a healer and being a teacher and being the goddess queen. It is important for me to lead at the level where I sit. As royalty, I don't have any option but to present that level to my students, to my attendees. I can only present at the level where I sit. I can only be in that level with wealth. So when leading that retreat, the attendees who came, they were like, this is amazing. Like, we were right on the ocean. Every morning you wake up, you get to see that big, beautiful, and this is Zanzibar. I don't know if you want to Google Zanzibar beach and just take a look and just be in that essence and be in that energy, even in this moment. The beaches in Zanzibar, I know we've all, been exposed to Sands Beach, and you know they played those reggae songs and had white people running down in social St. Lucia and the Bahamas and stuff. Zanzibar has white sandy beaches, white sand, and this is again Africa. As a matter of fact, Africa has some of the most beautiful beaches that exist in the world, period, point blank.
True.
And Zanzibari beaches are white sand, blue aqua, blue waters. The weather there is amazing. It's warm. There's breeze. There's wind. You can look down into the water and see to the bottom of the sandy floor. Um, there is a vibration in Zanzibar that emanates peace. It emanates relaxation. It just emanates everything, stillness and nature. And those things, those elements, again, it's very important to remember what it means to you. Those elements embody what it means to me to live in luxury, to live in a state of peace, to be in a state of where my body is fully relaxed. I, and this is a personal share, this is because we're family now, right? We're family. I've been introduced via family, but I can't even get a proper blissful orgasm if my body is not completely relaxed. I can't be in a place and um in a place physically. I can't go there physically if I'm not fully relaxed. If I'm looking at something dirty in the room and thinking about clothes that need to be folded, those things take you out of relaxation. They take you out of bliss. They take you back to the struggle. They take you far, far away. So, and again, we are moving away from that. We are moving away. That is not where we at anymore. Our grandmas did that. Our great grandmas did that. We don't have to keep playing that same song and telling that same story. We don't have to do that. So I recreate and infuse these elements of wealth and luxury and abundance into my retreat because that is the element, that is where we are now. That is our birthright. We were born into that. And believing anything else is a false narrative. Wealth in my life looks like the ability to spend without cease. Somebody say spend without cease.
Spend without cease.
Yes, spend without that means the same things that you desire, the ability to say, you know what? It's freaking Wednesday. I think I should get on the plane and go to Nairobi. That that's where we're going. That's where we're going, right? The ability to say, you know what? I've never had a Tiffany bracelet before. Let me go ahead and treat myself to a Tiffany bracelet. To be able to utilize money for enjoyment versus just
Yes,
sheer necessity.
yes, yes, yes.
That's what wealth looks like.
Yep.
This
Speak.
is what wealth in my life looks like.
Yep.
This is not something that you have to live vicariously through one of the fake ass housewife situations. No. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. That's not necessary. You are already in the embodiment of abundance. The work has already been put in. It's your job now to emerge from the struggle story. Emerge from the struggle story. And I'm saying this for the people who are in the front, but aren't really hearing yet. I'm saying it to you directly. Emerge from the struggle story. Emerge from the struggle story.
Yes.
Let that one go.
Yes. Can I just
You don't
interject?
have to be married to your struggle, baby.
Let it go.
You don't have. They are. Remember, they already was poor. We telling a new story for the lineage now.
Mm-hmm.
We're telling a new story for the family lineage, right? We're breaking generational traumas, right? And the cycles from before. Let
Yep.
that one go.
Yep.
That one is an easy one to let go.
Yes.
And I want to tell you how easy it is to let go of it. Let me see if I can quantify it. I'm gonna give it to you in a very quick way. Okay, let me wait because I have some steps. So I have some steps, and you're going to put these steps into practice. And the first person who comes back and reports using these steps, I'm going to have a very beautiful gift waiting for you on one of my retreats. Okay.
Yes.
So put a pin in that. Let's just put a pin in that and I'll come back to that. All right. So money is confusing and it's still a struggle when you don't trust, when you don't feel it, and when you don't understand it. I'm going to repeat that. Money is confusing. Okay. Being in the energy of abundance, being in the energy of financial, up leveling, all of that, that equates to many of us for just money. Let's just use money right now. Money is confusing and it's still a struggle when you don't trust, number one, when you don't feel it, and when you don't understand it. Okay. So, wealth, going back to the word wealth, wealth embodies the ocean when you trust. When you trust, when you trust, when you're really in a relationship with this frequency and you trust, then wealth, that the whole thing embodies the ocean. You know how when you jump in the middle of the ocean, okay, maybe we Black women, all of us don't jump in the middle of the ocean. But if you were to jump into the middle of the ocean, you don't have to trust that your head gonna hit the bottom of the ocean when you dive in. You know that the ocean is deep, baby. It's a lot. The whales live in the ocean. Okay, so ain't no end. It's a lot. It's vast. Okay, and that is how money shows up when there is a level of trust. It catches you. Y'all know that old little exercise that people be doing in team building uh, meetings and retreats when they be like, okay, I'm gonna stand behind you, okay, and lean back, and I'm gonna catch you, right? We've had experiences like that even as children with somebody saying lean back and I'll catch you. Have you ever leaned back and allowed money to catch you? Have you ever just jumped and been like, you know what? Just go ahead and jump and know that I'm okay. I'm good. That is when you are starting to up level into the energy of abundance. The ocean is abundance. The ocean is abundant. There ain't no shortage in the ocean, right? Ain't no lack in the ocean. See, the thing about the way you've been taught and the way that we've been taught is we've been taught to work hard in order to make money. Oh, you got to work 9 to 5 and 40 hours and 20 years. And after 20 years, and you can go ahead and retire. Listen, you can work hard all you want. But when you are living in fear because you don't trust that you'll have what you need, then baby, there is no abundance in that house. There is no abundance in that house. There's no abundance without trust. There is no abundance without trust. Money will always be confusing. It will always be hard when you don't trust that you'll have what you need. And the trust really isn't in the money itself, right? So again, we're spiritual women. The trust is not in the money itself. The trust is in all of the effort, all of the things that have been put in, all of the elements that are supporting you, seen and unseen, seen and unseen. And I'll quantify it in this way. Has there ever been a time that you really needed something? Like you were like, you know what? I just really need X amount of money to go ahead and do this. And I don't know, like I just need it. This has to happen, right? I want to give you a real life example. One of my clients, she decided early on that she was going to come to Zanzibar. When I publicized the retreat, I said, you know, look, this is where we're going. I'm going to Africa, et cetera, et cetera. You can join in. We about to tear the whole club up. And she was like, yes. She said yes early on. And early on means maybe February, March. Okay. She sent in her payment, her deposit payment. But by, I think, July, she hadn't made any other payments. And she got on the phone and she was like, Goddess Queen, I am not sure I will be able to make it. I don't know, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. And we just had a real conversation, you know. And at that time, I told her, listen, part of the problem is that you think this is an option. You know, everybody's ancestors are different, and her ancestors specifically were championing for her to come to Africa at that time. So I said, you think this is an option, but they don't already, you know, I don't know what the hell we talking about. I don't know what we on the phone talking about. So she said, okay, let me go sit with it and let me go make a decision. And she did that. And I want to say a short 48 hours later, she had the total sum of about $12,000 deposited in her account. Now, I didn't put the 12,000 there. I surely didn't go into my bank account and drop it in there. But those are the types of things that happen when you tap into that trust. When you make a decision, number one, when you say, all right, this is what's happening, and then you trust that it's actually going to happen. that part, when you trust that it's actually going to happen, things start shifting. We get money all the time from sources, and we don't know that that's coming. You ever get a check in the mail, literally a check in the mail that you had not expected to get? That's tapping into frequency. That's just tapping into the energy of whatever the money is offering you. Whatever the frequency is for what it is that you want X. Money shows up from some other source, and now you're able to get X. What is that? That's spiritual principles. That's frequency of money 101. So that is the other part of it. Remember, I said you don't trust it if you don't feel it. Feeling into the frequency of what it is that you want. Feeling into that frequency. feeling into that frequency. You know, there are women who consistently date men at a certain financial level consistently. And I don't mean, you know, the bottom level, the broke ones, the ones who don't have money. I mean, consistently dating men who have money. The frequency has already been established. I went to a strip club years ago, and at the strip club, I was sitting there minding my business. A young lady was sitting there minding her business with her friend, and out of the business of what we were minding, a guy walked across the room and just handed this young lady a stack of money, like, you know, just a stack of ones. Do what you want to do, live your best life. And you know, I was a little confused at first. I said, "Okay, sir, you know, I'm like, is this your dude? Like, what? This is different." And she was like, "Oh, you know, no, this isn't my dude. I don't know him. Like, he's just handing me money." And so I was like, "That's interesting." And it was the first time I'd observed something like that. I was like, I never seen anything like that before. And I just asked her, you know, like, are you interested in him? Or because I was really curious. I'd never seen anything like that before. You know, not that I'm at the strip club regularly or anything like that, but you know, this was an experience, and I was like, this is all new to me. So write this down. Is this usually happen? And how can I get a stack? So I said, "Are you gonna give him your number? You know, obviously he's trying to holler at you." And she was like, "Actually, no, I'm not gonna give him my number, because the thing is that men do this all the time. Like, wherever I go, men do this." And I'm like, "Well, why?" Because I was curious. And she was like, "You know, to be honest, like, the man that I'm dating right now is a multimillionaire. And, you know, wherever I go, men are always very generous and very giving to me. Like, that's just, that's it." And I didn't understand it at that time. This was years ago, before I'd even been awakened and exposed to the level of wealth and abundance that I live in now. Now I understand she was just tuned into a frequency. She was just tuned into the frequency.
Yep.
She had set the frequency on the radio for rich millionaires. And these were Black men. Let me just point that out. She's a young Black woman, and these are Black men, you know. And for all of the conversations about what does and what doesn't exist, I want you to always remember that it's not about what exists in somebody else's life. It's about the frequency that you're tapped into in your own life. That frequency. So feeling into the vibrations, feeling into the frequency, tuning in to the frequency. Overcoming spiritual obstacles are not always easy. It's not always easy to be able to go from someone who chronically believes that there is not enough, because that is a collective way of thinking. Poverty is a collective consciousness. It's gross, but it's really a collective consciousness. Just like you think of schools of fish all swimming together, right? They didn't plan it, they didn't coordinate it, they didn't go practice 5, 6, 7, 8. They didn't do any of that, but they're all swimming in synchronicity. Poverty consciousness works the same way. It works the same way. Sometimes it's not just about you and what you think and what you're learning. Sometimes it's about the environment that you are in. Leaving America represented leaving a toxic relationship for me. Toxicity, and the word toxic and narcissism, these are, again, buzzwords. 2021 buzzword, narcissist. He was a narcissist. I see that everywhere. Let's forget personal responsibility. Let's forget the fact that you enabled this man. Let's forget the fact that you took care of him, you funded him, you put him in your house, you procreated and had babies for him. He ain't did nothing for you. He ain't never want to do nothing. Let's forget all of those things, and let's just go to a clinical term that psychologists use and just call it narcissism. It's gross. Toxicity. All of that, all of that. You have to that is poverty consciousness. Poverty consciousness works in that same way. It works in the inability to see oneself separate from a low vibrational group. It works in that way. It works in the way that when your friend says, girl, we should really go see, Adukunle Gold, T.Y. Savage, they're coming to town. And the first thing you say is, girl, I ain't even got it like that. What? That's where you're starting? Poverty consciousness works in the way that when you say, you know what, I realize that I really had some generational trauma in my family, and for a long time, the women in my family, they've had a history of taking care of men who didn't do nothing for them, and I know I need help. Should I sign up? I want to sign up for counseling, but I ain't really got it like that. I ain't got time. I ain't got money. I got what? That's poverty consciousness. And truth be told, poverty consciousness, it's an easy one for them to program because it relies on the fears of the ego. The ego wants you to stay the same. The ego don't want you to rise up. The ego don't want you to be sitting on the throne with a crown on your head. The ego wants you to be small. The ego wants you to be small. The ego don't want you to go outside your comfort zone. The ego gonna tell you, that ain't, see, that's why that ain't, you shouldn't even did that. That's not even for you. That's not even for you. That's what the ego will tell you. It's just playing mind games and mind tricks on you to keep you small so you don't have to level up, so it doesn't have to do more work. You will only be in tune with what you feel comfortable with, what you feel capable of, and what you feel ready for. You will only be in tune, the frequency. Remember that young lady, and this is real, and I'm saying this because I'm in a room full of beautiful and amazing, evolving Black women. You are the biggest commodity of America, to be honest with you. You are the entire plug. Just like Future say, baby, I'm the plug. Baby, you the plug. You the plug. You the ones who be putting your mama on, your sister on, your cousin, niece, nephew. You the one who lead the whole crew. You lead the whole pack. It's you. It's you. So I'm saying these things to you because I want you to understand where you sit. And I want you to understand that they have pulled wool over your eyes so that you can't see that you're standing in a room full of gold, that you are made from gold. You were made from gold the whole time. The whole time. And that was your ancestors' sacrifice. They put a lot into it. They put a lot into you. The phrase, I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. That's not just a phrase. That's where we are right now. In this, we're in the golden age. We just left the age of information and technology. We're now in the golden. This is the age of Aquarius. We're really swimming in it. We're really swimming in it. And if you are truly in alignment with abundance, then it's just going to require for you to tap into the frequency. It's just the frequency. You will only be in tune with what you feel comfortable with. That young lady in the strip club, she was comfortable with receiving. Remember? Some of us, some of us have struggled with receiving. So even receiving something as simple as a compliment. I've observed many a woman who, when someone walks up and says, I like your shoes, there's a need, there's a need felt to say, oh, well, I like your hat. Baby, you can't just receive a compliment. You can't just receive it. Just receive. It's a compliment. Open your arms and receive. Allow people to do things for you. Allow. How you gonna allow 100,000 on 100,000 if you can't even allow somebody to a man to just give you money? You're receiving gifts? No, that don't make you materialistic or whatever. What do they tell them? Gold digger. That don't make you none of that. That makes you none of that at all. Especially receiving from a man who you've done so much for. I don't, I don't have any options but to just be honest. We're here. Here we are. It's 2021. If everything shuts down tomorrow and Armageddon happens, and the people that are not people show up and other things, I just need to go out saying that I kept it 100. I kept it 100,000 into the last breath. So we're here. We're here. The frequency involves you actually being able to receive. And some of you have had challenges with just receiving. So that's even something to consider. You will only be in tune with what you feel comfortable with, capable of handling, and ready for. You remember all those stories about, somebody won the lottery, and then within 24 or 48 months, they lost it, right? They won the money, or they got a life insurance settlement, and then within a year, they're back to where they were, or sometimes even worse than what they were, right? I was just having this conversation with a friend of mine about money, and talking about me leveling up, stepping into wealth and realizing that being in this place with money, it exposes any hole that you have, any insecurity, any lack, anything that is out of balance and out of harmony. It's going to expose that. They try to drop it in the poverty consciousness and say money is the root of all evil. That's a lie. God created money. I don't make it make sense. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. So the same money that you're going to be able to use to make sure that you help your auntie at the cancer center when she gets cancer, that money is evil? Oh, you mean the same money that was able to help your daughter get into that private school when you was able to pay that private school tuition? No, that money's evil. Oh, no. Okay, my bad. When you was driving that Toyota Corolla and then you was able to level up and get you, a little range, that money is evil. Poverty consciousness. That's another lie. That's another lie that they told you, just like the ancestors, and that's another lie. That's another lie. How easy must their life be when you can live in that series of lies, when you can live in the series of what I don't have, and you can feel some type of way about having? People have misconceptions about money simply because of years and years of programming. When that person gets that million and they lose it, is that a reflection of the money? Did the money make them lose it? Or is there something that they needed to level up on? Is there some area that they needed to grow in and evolve in order to be able to handle more? Remember, this is energies, right? So it's frequency. We're going to think about this the same way we think about leveling up into a corporation, going from managing a small business where you have 5 employees to managing a corporation when you have 5,000. What level of responsibility does it require? It requires you to change up, right? You can't operate at that same 5-person team when you have 5,000 people on the team. It's a different ball game. So it's a new frequency. So you have to step up to a 5,000 person frequency. When you step up to the 5-person frequency, then you're able to maintain your corporation. But if when you get upgraded to that 5,000 person team, you have to take pills to stay awake to complete your projects. You weren't exercising. So now those pills are having an adverse effect on your life. You're not spending no more time with your kids because you are running a 5,000 person team and you don't know how to balance your time anymore. You're not even eating breakfast. You're just eating fat snacks and drinking coffee on the way to. It's not the corporation that did it. It's the fact that you were supposed to evolve and you did not evolve. When you got that million, they were supposed to evolve and grow, not turn to drugs, not start popping. Did the money tell them go pop mollies or something? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Money is a tool. It's a tool. Money is a resource. And I give thanks. I give thanks for that aspect of money, the aspect that even helps you to see yourself in a new way and with clarity. It helps you to even see the holes within yourself, to see any areas that need improvement. Any areas that need improvement. Wow, I got $1 million. Okay, now I need to figure out, or even before I got the million, because I was sitting up there asking for it, right? They say, be careful what you ask for. So now because I have $1 million, I'm excited because I was already prepared with my accountant. I got my accountant prepared even before I got the million. I asked her about taxes because I've heard stories about wealthy people and other people who've been given $1 million grants and who ended up having to go to jail because they didn't pay their taxes. So I even had the tax accountant prepared before. Wow. Paid my taxes. That's amazing. Now I get to sit down and take a look and say, well, what else is it that I need to do with this money? Let me not forget the goals that I had. Let me not get this million subtracting my 160,000 for taxes. Let me not have my 800,000 and forget that it was always my goal to buy my mama's house. Let me not forget to do that first. Because the last thing I want to say in a year from now, in 24 months from now, is I spent all the money and I didn't even do what it is that I wanted to do. That's where we are now. That's the era and the time frame that we're living in now, where money no longer has to be a sense of it. It's no longer intimidating. It no longer feels like, oh well, I don't know if I'm supposed to have this, so let me hurry up. People spend money because they feel uncomfortable with it. One of the reasons that people outspend when they get money is because they don't even feel comfortable having it. They don't even feel comfortable just sitting down with money in their bank account, looking at it, just being at peace with the fact that it's a lot of money in there. Just being at peace with the fact that you got 350,000 sitting there looking at you every morning when you log in and look at that bank account, is looking back at you, feeling comfortable and feeling at peace. But we in a different place because people have misconceptions about money. Those misconceptions are based on the matrix. They're based on the matrix style thinking, the lack consciousness instead of spiritual principles. I want you to go ahead and just repeat after me. Abundance is my birthright. Wealth is my birthright. Freedom is my birthright. Let that just sit in your body. Let it just sit. Abundance is my birthright. Wealth is my birthright. Freedom is my birthright. Abundance is your birthright. Money gives you access. Why wouldn't God want you to have it? Tell me that. And like, do you really have a legit answer for why God wouldn't want you to have money? And maybe write that down too. Why wouldn't God want me to have abundance? Why wouldn't God want me to be healthy, wealthy, and wise? Doesn't God want all great things for me? So why wouldn't God want you to have all, all of the desires of your heart and more? Why wouldn't God want you to have that? Some of you are living lives today. You're living a life today that you manifested years ago, like
Ashe,
actively,
Ashe.
actively, actively manifested it. I mean, we're always manifesting. We're always, our thoughts, they're things, and these things become things, and they're here in the present world, and they're in the physical iteration. All we're always manifesting, you know. But some of you are living lives. The life that you live today is one that you thought of, like you was just thinking of it years ago. You was like, damn, why can't I just? And then boom, here we are, 2021, October 28th. Okay, well, I think it's the 27th where you are. October the 27th. And here you are. You realize, wait a minute, hold on now. I'm living this. I am a living manifestation of the things that I dreamed of years ago. And excellent, 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 excellent. The question is, what are you manifesting and creating in terms of living within your birthright, within abundance? What does that look like? And can I just say, I am a huge fan of Beyonce. Um, Priestess Osun and Funke and I are both Virgos. And I'm more Leo than Virgo a lot of times. Um, but I'm a big fan of Beyonce, not just because she's, another iteration of myself, but because one of the things that I appreciate is her ability to remind me of how just stinking ass creative, just how fucking opulent the creativity is when when you just see a work of art and you like, God, where did you even get the gall to to just create? What did that yes, you just get excited because of the artwork, right? I want you to imagine just for a moment that you were able to live within that wealth of abundance, that ocean where money without cease, as I mentioned earlier, money without cease. Because one of the things that we like to do as Black folk is we like to talk about what Black folk do when they get money. They do real extra. They go extra. You might see somebody with a new nail set and they might have a whole carnival wheel, a whole Ferris wheel on one of their nails. Black people. Extra. Extra. I want you to allow yourself to think about how extra you can be. How extra you can be with a wealth, with money without ceasing. How extra, because we're not talking about just necessities. We're not talking about necessities, baby. We're not talking about them light bills and the car notes and the mortgages. We're not talking about none of that. We are speaking about the things that you want to do, not the obligations. That's when you've really leveled into abundance. Enjoyment. Enjoyment. Buying it because you wanted it, because you felt like it. That part. Why wouldn't God want you to have that Fendi bag? Why wouldn't God want you to have that Birkin bag? Is there something inherently evil in the Birkin bag? If that's what you want, why is there something evil about a Birkin? Help me to understand if I'm missing something. But last time I checked, there was nothing satanic about a beautiful designer bag. I mean, I think it's all the same to God. I don't think he distinguishes between the Michael Kors shoes and the Louis Vuittons. I don't think he's like, you know what? She can have them Michael Kors from TJ Maxx, but she can't have them Louis Vuitton. I don't think the Most High is really concerned with that or preoccupied with that. And that's something that I would have told myself 10 years ago. That's what I would have wanted my 16-year-old self, because I'm only 26. Even though I have these people who call me mom. I just had my 26th birthday again, recently. So what I would have told myself 10 years ago is that it's just money. There's nothing bad about it. There's no evil associated with it. It's just a tool. It's a frequency. It's a frequency. There's something to be said about owning that, right? For those of you who are in our Instagram, you can add me or follow me on Instagram. I'm Goddess Queen Jah Ast. And one of the things that I am always tickled by is how many people are tickled by me identifying myself appropriately.
Can you spell that so they can
I'm
go and follow you, please?
sure. I'm Goddess Queen, so Goddess, Queen, Queen, Jah, Jah, Ast, Ast. And people are always so tickled. They're like, the Goddess Queen? I'm like, yes, that's what I am. Just that's a sailor, that's a fisherman, that's a tailor, that's a chef. Oh, look, there's me, the Goddess Queen. I am goddess, I am queen. I own it. I don't, I'm just like I'm a Black woman, I'm Trinidadian, I'm American, living in Africa, I'm wealthy, I am a mom, I'm a daughter. I have to own all characteristics of myself. And if I could have talked to myself 10 years ago, I would have said, own the fact that it's just money. There's nothing bad about it. There's nothing inherently evil about it. It's literally just a tool. It's a frequency, just like tuning in to a frequency on the radio. Just like tuning into the frequency of the radio. Just like tuning into the frequency of the radio. So when you sit down and you really start to go over these questions, and one of the reasons that I enjoy these types of rooms, these types of forums, classes, workshops, is because these are the conversations that nobody's ever really sat and had with us. Like, if you were lucky to have friends like me, having Priestess Osun Funke as a friend, we have these conversations, right? And that's why I lead retreats, because it's all about who you're in the room with. Very often you get in the room with the right set of people and everything opens up. Environment, people like to talk about law of attraction, and what you think and what you get and blah, blah, blah. Baby, y'all missing the fact that law of attraction, 80% of it is the environment. 80% of it is your damn environment. You can positive thinking yourself to death, but if you in a toxic ass environment, what's going on? You working against yourself just by being in that environment. Again, hence my toxic relationship with America, My struggle story in America no longer exists. Once I came over here, the environment, everything up leveled. So when you are ready, I don't know if you're ready right now, but when you are ready to finally start walking, and you don't have to run into the arms of abundance, right? You don't have to run. You can waddle, you can teeter totter, you can, when toddlers start walking, they teeter totter and take their time and do what they need to do, but they get there. When you are ready, there are about 4 questions that you need to ask yourself. 4 questions that you need to ask yourself when you are ready to walk into the arms of abundance. The first question is, what do you desire to be in regards to your finances? What do you desire to be in regards to your finances? So if it makes you feel better, you can always replace the word finances with in regards to abundance. What do you desire to be in regards to abundance or finances, either one? And I want you to identify it in one word. So whatever that word is, and you say I, and you would say yourself, I, Jamila Ast, am a blank woman. So I, Jamila Ast, am a wealthy goddess. I'm a wealthy woman, because my money is like the ocean. It's money without ceasing. When I desire it, then it'd be like, boom, here you go. And even if I fall into it, because you can't always see what's at the bottom of the ocean. You really can't see what's at the bottom of the ocean. But when I fall into it, it's always there to catch me. So wealthy is the best way that I know how to classify myself. That's what I embody. That's what I live in. That's what I operate in. For you, it may be rich. For you, it may be well off. For you, it may be comfortable. Even the word comfortable, if that's abundance to you, just be where you are. So what do you desire to be with regards, to abundance or finances? The second question is, what makes you feel closest to that? What makes you feel closest to that? If it's comfortable, what makes you feel closest to being comfortable financially? Is it when you're able to give your mom, money so she can buy, a new blazer, a new jacket? Does that make you feel comfortable? If it's rich, does it make you feel rich when you take off work middle of the day, go to Saks Fifth and buy a nice pair of earrings? Does that make you feel rich? What makes you feel closest to that? For one of my goddesses, what makes her feel closest to being rich is going on retreat. Coming on retreat makes her feel rich. Having somebody cook for you, pamper you, take care of you, wash your clothes, scrub your floors, bring you juice, bring you refill, make your coffee, clean up your mess, pick up your towels, not having to work, for 10 days. She was one of the first people to sign up for the retreat, in Mexico. And that retreat is in March. So I don't want to be out here and then y'all like, she ain't even tell us the retreat is in March. And if you want to attend, then you can definitely message me. But it's about what makes you feel closest to that. What makes you feel closest to that element? What makes you feel closest to whatever it is that you identified in the first question? The third question is, what needs to shift in order for you to be able to embody that weekly or daily? What needs to shift? Something got to shift in order for you to be. We're not talking about just doing that once every while. For you to be able to, whether it's a weekly retreat to Jeju, right? To take that time, because that's what it's about, taking time for yourself, taking time for yourself. I didn't do a 3-day retreat. Priestess Osun Funke came on my first retreat in 2019, and it was 3 days. And it was beautiful, but it was only 3 days. It was less than 72 hours. This one was 14 days because I was shooting middle fingers into the air and saying that no, we need our time. This is our time. So what needs to shift in order for you to embody that weekly or daily? To release the shackles of making excuses. I'm so busy. Well, what's going to happen? What's going to happen if you're not there? One of my goddesses who attended, she got 3 kids, 3 girls. They had to be without her for 20 days. She's giving them she sacrificed her whole life. They'll be fine without you for 20 days. Another one of my goddesses owns a brand new fitness studio in Gambia. She got a staff of at least 20 people and this is a LA fitness style 2-level, 2-story fitness gym. They had to be without her for over 2 weeks. What needs to shift? Is it a mentality? Is it a belief that you have? What needs to shift in order for you to be able to embody that weekly and or daily? And then the last question, number 4, is what belief or thought do you need to let go of in order to make it happen? What belief or thought do you need to let go of in order to make it happen? In order to be able to go to that shift, what needs to shift? So, whatever that is, what belief or thought do you need to let go of in order to make that happen? So, let me just go over the questions one last time. The first one, what do you desire to be in regards to finances or abundance? Number 2, what makes you feel closest to that? Number 3, what needs to shift in order for you to embody that weekly, daily, or even monthly? And then number 4, what belief or thought do you need to let go of in order to make that happen? So I want to just take a moment and really just let all those things simmer in. I know I went over a lot because we haven't even gotten into health.
You'll be back.
But okay.
You'll be back.
But I do just want to say this about health. Um, One of the things that I realized when I was ascending into the state of wealth, you know, there wasn't a lot that I needed to do after changing the environment. You know, I mentioned the environment earlier. After I changed the environment, things started to fall into place. And one of the things that I realized is, as a wealthy woman, it's always been very important for me to take care of my health. So I had to actually start valuing my body in a different way. I had to start looking at my ailments, taking my pain seriously. Um, Anytime something traumatic happens in your life and your mind can't process it, it pushes it into your body. Okay, so a lot of us have little pains and aches, and we end up with bigger ailments, things that are in our organs or fibroids and just different things like that. And all of these things are connected. And I realized that there was something out of alignment for me with being wealthy without being healthy, because I was like, not trying to sit up here and die. Now that I finally done up leveled my money,
Exactly.
and I'm able to live in this way. I'm not trying to I now I gotta preserve my health.
You know, I just went
So
through that. I just went through that, and that's something that we have to be very conscious of. We will sacrifice ourselves, um, trying to get to where we want to be, not realizing that it is ourselves that allows us to attain those things.
absolutely. And the body is such a tool, it's such a temple. The body is just, baby, all credence and all honor to my temple. Because first of all, I'm a bad one. That's first, second, and third. Okay. I'm bad. And it took a while for me to get this bad. Like I said, I'm a young 26, but baby, let me tell you something. I done had to work very hard at maintaining
A
this.
26-year-old body in 30 some years. That's amazing.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So the preservation game is real. And the thing is that because our body support, because your body supports you the way that it does, it takes care. When you're ill, the body starts working on your behalf. The body literally adores and worships your every breath because your body is always working on your behalf. The very least you can do as you are rising into abundance is put focus on your health. So I will say that I own that, I am that, and I receive and live that. So thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much, Goddess Queen. I really, really appreciate you. Um, I adore you. I hope the ladies, I pray that the ladies, have taken really excellent notes and that they will visit and revisit what you have said tonight. I am going to
I
talk.
want to hear if there's any questions.
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do any questions because that way we can just knock it out, knock it out.
Does anybody have
Oh,
any questions?
very welcome.
Okay. Well, they
Is
don't
there,
have,
do they raise hands?
huh? They
I
don't have
said,
any
do they raise?
questions. They're quiet like that sometimes.
Well,
um,
I have a question if I'm not overstepping. I just want to take a couple minutes because
yes.
I like to hear what is actually what's the biggest aha, what's the biggest revelation for any of the attendees in this particular session. What stands out to you the most? What moves you the most? So if anybody wants to
I have
answer
a,
that.
I'd like to answer that.
Sure.
Um,
Hi, Hazel.
Hi. So what, I came in a little late, but when I came in, you were talking about, taking the time to take care of yourself and spend money on yourself and kind of splurge. And it was interesting because that conversation actually came up for me earlier today
Mm-hmm.
because my birthday is Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this big plan because right now I'm making more than I have made previously. And I had this plan like months ago that I was going to go splurge and buy myself a designer bag and some shoes because I've never had anything like that before. Um, and these last few months, my whole mood has changed. I've been like really negative. I've been like self analyzing a lot. And I wasn't going to do it anymore because I just wasn't in that mindset anymore. And a coworker came up to me and was like, you work so hard, you do all these hours, you're always on call. It can't just be for bills. Like the money that I make can't just be for to make other people rich. And I don't know, when you said that, it kind of, I don't know, it just made it deeper, I guess. And I'm thinking about all the other ways that I shortchange myself on sometimes on even like a daily basis. Um, even just waking up late and feeling like rushed and not having time to eat breakfast or even sit down and enjoy a cup of coffee, or not being rested because I have to run this errand for my daughter, or I have to get this done for somebody else. And so it's definitely one of the things that I have to stop and I think put more time into, valuing myself, because I have made a lot of strides this past year. And at some point I should enjoy it. At some point, it should matter. So that's kind of what I was thinking.
Ashe. So Hazel, I have a question for you. What designer bag is it that you actually want?
So I was gonna get a Tory Burch bag because I'm not bold enough to spend, a few grand. But there was I think it's a Lee Radziwill bag in the Tory Burch, one of the Tory Burch collections that I wanted, and I was gonna get a pair of their boots as well.
Okay.
No, you better buy that bag.
No. Yeah.
You better look.
Yeah.
Buy that bag. I'm gonna reach over here. These are just my babies that are beside my bed. I just bought this.
Mhm.
My girlfriend. I love her. She's kind of new. I bought her probably 2 or 3 months ago, about 2 months ago. And then this is my newest baby because I just happened to be running errands in the mall and I saw this. This is Kurt Geiger. And I whined and did the puppy dog eyes, and Carlos got me this one.
Oh, I love it.
And those are the ones that I can just reach. I'm always buying myself something, girl. If you are going to work every day, and it doesn't always have to be designer, I happen to like designer. But if you are going to work every day and you are not building monuments to your effort, you are doing something horribly wrong. And I'm not going to take the moment from the Goddess Queen. I'll let you answer. But when you start talking about purses, girl, I had to chime in because that's how I treat myself. Okay. You can judge how well I'm doing by how many bags I buy.
Yes. And to be honest with you, Hazel, the way your face lit up, I don't even know who Tory Burch is. So let's start there. For me, life and wealth looks different. It looks like when I'm able to go to a particular hotel. Like I like Radisson Blue International because everywhere Radisson Blue is in Africa is always 5-star. They're always gonna give me all my Western amenities. I'm gonna have my robe waiting, my slippers waiting, people waiting at the door to serve me. I don't like to pick up my bags. I don't like to do no work. First of all, I don't like to do no work. I am anti work hard. Like even as a coach, my clients, they pay about 10,000 and I'm not out here busting, but I'm not busting no sweat. We're gonna do this work, but we're not busting sweats. So for you to be busting sweats and putting as much into everything as you are doing, you owe it to yourself and to all of the women who have busted sweats prior to you even coming into existence. You owe it. It's that when we start understanding that we are so intricately connected to our ancestors, that a gift for you is honestly a gift for everybody.
Yes.
When we understand that, then we get over ourselves and let me put it in quotes, our quote, humility, and say, I don't know if I'm supposed to have that. I don't know. Okay, let's put it in reality. What about the 500 Black women who were scrubbing floors and taking care of babies so you can be able to work and have education and have access and have the lifestyle that you have right now? Do they owe it? Do they deserve it? Do you owe it to them? Okay, well then treat yourself. Once we can get into that and we understand what the bigger picture is, what the biggest picture is, once we understand that frequency, then we can open ourselves up. And once you, honestly, and this, you can quote me on this, every single time, the biggest purchases that I've made that I felt any type of trepidation about, I'm always so amazed at how the biggest purchases always come. It's like they come back quicker than the little small purchases. you know, in the past when I'd be like, dang, this coaching program is the biggest one I spent 25,000. I don't really know if I really know 25,000. Like that's what the ego was saying. But when I went ahead and just dropped the money, it's like within two weeks, I got it back. Like it wasn't rocket science. It's just the frequency. It's just the frequency. There's so many times that we try to talk ourselves out of it, not realizing that money is flow. It's gonna come back just like a wave. They go and they come. They always coming. So be in that and treat yourself. It's your solar return. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. You the girl.
Yeah.
I,
Treat
I
yourself.
would like to share an aha moment if I can too when you're done.
Absolutely. Thank you, Hazel.
Thank you, Hazel. And you did light up
Kelly,
real bright. I
Yes,
just
you
wanted to
did.
say my aha moment. Number one, this is just, I have spent so much of my life investing into everybody else. I am in a coach's class that I don't want to be in, but I'm in it because my principal told me, if you do this, then this will add more to your, repertoire, and then you can get into leadership positions. I got my bachelor's and I have my master's in curriculum, and I show them every day what I can do. Why do I need another class that I'm not? And I got 4 more years in that school, and I'm not trying to stay there. I'm trying to be a millionaire. And I just realized that I'm investing in what she believes that I should be. And I don't want to do that. And I invest in so many other people. I pour into, so I have always, I'm 52 years old. I've been pouring into people my entire life and never truly pouring into myself or investing into my ideas. I have given people some awesome ideas, even down to my children, and I'll come up with my own ideas, but I won't even make the move to help myself. But I'll help, somebody tell me, oh, I want to do this. And I'm, oh, that's a wonderful idea. Let me invest in you. And then the money never goes anywhere. It just never goes anywhere. And I was just listening to you when you said, when you level up, when your ideas level up, your habits need to level up. And I have some awesome ideas and got the same poor woman habits. I pretty much live right now, and it's sad, as much money as I make, but I'm gonna go on and put it out there because anybody knows me know I tell the truth. I live like I make $5 an hour. I literally will give, and too ashamed to go to the shoe store. I wear the same shoes every day, and I told myself the lie that, oh, I'm wearing these because they are comfortable. Now I'm embarrassed because they got holes in them, but I make sure everybody else is fine. And I got to stop doing that because I'm not elevating. I'm not elevate mentally. The ideas will come. Spirit will give me download after download after download, and I write stuff down. And I have 50 notebooks full of ideas.
Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for sharing that, because I can hear how intense that is. I can hear the level of intensity, because if you are in your 50s and you've been
I'm behind
investing
the
into
ball.
other people. Yeah. So and then you're a teacher. Listen, so Kelly, this is my question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need to understand about who you are in order for those beliefs to change?
Yes.
What do you need to understand about who you are? Not how good of a person, not none of that. What do you need to understand about who you are? Who you are. Because this is what I will tell you. And I want you to write that question down, because I already know that if you write it down, if you go to sleep, and if you just let it follow you into your dreams in the morning, you will not only have an answer, but you'll have an affirmation. And that affirmation is something that you can carry with you and repeat throughout the day. What I want to point out to you is, once going back to that consciousness, remember I talked about the school of fish and that consciousness that keeps people at the bottom. Going back to that consciousness, I want you to know that helping people is not unique. Sacrificing yourself for people is not a virtuous act. Sacrificing yourself is actually a very selfish act.
Yeah.
Because if you were created to do things here, if you were created by the Most High, if you came to earth with a mission to accomplish something, and you are sacrificing your energy for other people, that means that you're not doing what it is. You're not even in alignment for what it is that you're supposed to be doing.
That's
There's
right.
a bigger plan.
That's right.
I function how I function because there's a crown on my being. It's not on my head, it's on my being. It's on who I am. So I can't say, well, I'm gonna be nice and I'm gonna do this for somebody else. But meanwhile, wait a minute, wait, what? How can the queen is gonna come up off her throne and sacrifice herself for what? For what?
That's right.
What are we
People need you.
sacrificing yourself for?
But you know, Jamila, I tell them that all the time. I tell them that you have to be the best version of yourself for the people that rely on you. And so you dumbing yourself down and neglecting yourself is actually hurting your people. You need
It's
to
hurting everyone.
Yes,
You are the generator right now. Everybody's latched on to you.
Yes.
So that means if there's no power in you, that means everybody's down. So how is it helpful to take anything up out of you and make someone else more relevant? It's not. Somebody else's ideas for your life do not come supreme to what the mission is, what God has, what the purpose is, what the jewel is, what the juice is. That doesn't come supreme to that.
That's right.
You're even above the administrator suggesting that program, because she's not in more divine alignment with who you are and what you were sent to be than the Most High.
That's right. That's right.
So what do you need to know about who you are? Because that's really what it boils down to. Once I knew who I am, once I knew who I was and what I am in this life iteration, it was very hard for me to use this. I'm just trying to be nice stuff. I'm just selfless. I'm just gonna give. No. No, I can't do that. I can't do that. They done invested too much in me.
That's true. You are so right. And I know
so
what
what
I
do
say
you need to know?
She needs to know that she's divine, that she's a little piece of God.
She knows she's divine, but there's something else that she needs to know. And once she identified that, because Kelly, there's something so significant about you. I've worked with many people, and every one of us come with our blueprint, but many of us have similar blueprints because we have similar consciousness, in our background. There's something so significant about you. There's something very, very significant about you. And it may even take some time. I say, write that question down, go to sleep with it and read it. In the morning, you will have a download, an answer, a direction, something to highlight. Because there's something that you have yet to see about yourself. There's something that you have not yet acknowledged about yourself and about your reason. There's something that has not yet been acknowledged. And once you acknowledge that, like I said, Goddess Queen Jah Ast. It's a goddess, it's a queen. I can't unbe what I am. So once I own that, once you own this, then it's gonna make it very hard for anybody to tell you anything about it. Because they can't know this better than you. You the only one with your intuition. You're the only one connected to God. You're the only one listening in and tapped in and tuned in on your behalf.
That's right. That's right. That is right. I'm going to do that tonight. And I know the shadow work ritual that we just went through. And I've always said, okay, I started this before, but it kind of refreshed some things that I know that are continuous that I need to work on. And when you made the statement about, I got to go back to my notes. I know what you said, but I want to say it right. People who don't trust, when you don't trust it, feel it, and understand it. And trust is my biggest problem in myself. I don't trust myself. I come up with an idea, I plan it out, and then I just sit there like I'm afraid to make the next move because I'm afraid to fail. And I know where that comes. I know where that comes from. That's generational. I know it is, but I can't keep living that excuse. That excuse is over. Okay, recognize what it
Yeah.
is. Now your ancestors, all the women sitting up like, okay, baby, it's time for you to make a move. Now that you know that's what we
Right.
did, you got to fix it. And I'm
Right.
tired. I'm just tired. I'm like, I can't keep
So
doing this.
Kelly, I don't know, Priestess Osun Funke, you know, I definitely want to be respectful in this space. I don't know what you would recommend for your initiates in terms of purging a lot of that energy. But if I can, uh, you know, I always make suggestions for, you know, the work that I advise for my clients and my goddesses in regards to breath work. Breath work is new to many people. You know, many people don't know breath work. But if I can, Kelly, thank you for
You're
speaking on.
certainly welcome to do that. And I just wanted to let
Okay.
everybody know, because I know it's like 3 o'clock in the morning there.
Oh yeah.
As soon as you're done, Goddess, we're gonna dismiss you. I do have a couple of points that I want to cover with the,
Sure.
but I want you to know that you don't have to stay the whole time. You're welcome to. You're
Thank you.
always welcome. But I know that it's, you know, we're really, really creeping into the witching hour for you. So
Yes.
but go
Yes.
ahead, share as you will. You
Ashe. And you're releasing me, not dismissing me. Just, you know, Priestess Osun Funke.
Oh my
Just
God. No, you didn't.
right.
Yes.
Right. It's
You
like,
leave it. I could never dismiss you. I need you.
I had to. So if I can, and I know this is a little different for me. So I am a breathwork practitioner, and what breathwork is it's a meditation kind of method to release certain hordes of energy, to release particular things. You know, once you identify this is a problem that I've been having, and you're ready to let go, you're ready to rise up, you're ready to level up, then breathwork is always a resource. And I have been, you know, leading breath work, leading meditation sessions and plant medicine and everything else in these retreats. And I would love if it's possible, I have one of my goddesses in the room. I would love if she could just come on mic. She doesn't even have to get on camera. Goddess Ebony, if she can come up. She just attended. Hi, she just attended.
Hi.
So this is Goddess Ebony. She just attended the retreat that I led in Zanzibar. So she left, I believe she left Alabama and took a plane and caught the plane and came on over to Africa for the very first time.
Yes.
Goddess Ebony she's a veteran. She was in the military. She's part of my private membership group, where we work, we do the work, we do the spiritual work. And over the past couple of years, she has just evolved and continued to evolve, continue to up level in ways that I couldn't even have seen coming. And I just want Goddess Ebony, thank you. I just want you to just take a moment and speak about your experience in terms of actually healing something. Like, I know when we first started working together, using your voice and being able to articulate yourself, you know, setting boundaries in a certain way, that was a challenge for you. If you can just speak about just some things that you've done or that we've done in the past couple of years, or even just within the retreat space, that have helped you to up level. And thank you.
Yes. Thank you guys for allowing me to speak and be present in the invitation at all. So something that was completely brand new to me during the retreat that I absolutely despised when we first did it was the silent day, the silent fast. but I ended up actually loving the silent fast because it got rid of things that I didn't necessarily need to say, even though like the first day it was very frustrating because I felt like I wasn't able to communicate well by using, because there was no words for anything. It was just sign language. So that was one of the frustrating things for me, but I ended up getting much better at it. And I was very good at figuring out what other people wanted versus trying to communicate what I wanted. And then the breath work every morning, we set out over the beautiful beach with the sun gleaming down on us and just did our breath work together. And that was one of the most amazing things ever. I mean, because if you do breath work right, you're going to have a release. And when I say a release, I mean, for me, my releases come out in crying. So just releasing whatever it is that's moving around in my body that's been stagnant there. That breath allows it to move. So I absolutely love that. And yeah, it was just a beautiful experience. I came back to the States and ended up releasing a relationship. And TMI, once I decided to release my relationship, my body, it was like gushing orgasms. Like, okay, you did that for us type of thing. So it was something that I never experienced before. So it's just like speaking up for myself and learning to actually receive without me paying, without feeling like I needed to return a compliment. So I steadily grow daily, and I feel like hold on, let me go back because when I got ready to leave the retreat, I wanted to go to Dar el Salam because one of my friends was there, so I had to change my flight. The first day I tried to change my flight, it was 4:20. The second day, they was like the system went down, and I was like, okay. So they was like, okay, the prices went up to 6 something. And then I didn't confirm because I was like, hold on, y'all should match what you already told me. It's not my fault the system was down, right? So I didn't confirm. So the next day it was like, okay, now the ticket price is $9.49. You gonna get it or what? So I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and pay this money. Cause, it ain't like I don't got it. It's just the principle, right? So that was one of those things with like, hey, I got it. I can do it. Ain't no point of me faking myself out of it. Like, no, you're going to Dar. So basically, if I really want to look at it, I've lived the whole 2 months of me just doing self-care on myself. Because even when I made it back, I went to Jeju twice. I got cupping therapy. I got hot stone treatments. I've been getting pedicures. Like, I've been enjoying myself. So that's just what it is. So just making sure that I continually stay in a space of receiving and just gratitude and just making sure I continue to take care of myself because everything is already mine.
Thank you, Ebony.
You're welcome.
Just to make it very clear, this goddess that you are seeing on your screen in front of you this moment, this goddess is a whole entire up level from when we first met years ago. When we first met, she was timid. If I asked her to come on the screen and talk, that's why I said, goddess, you don't have to get on the screen if you don't want to. If I asked her to come on the screen and talk, she'd be like, I don't know what I don't have anything to say. So this that you are seeing in front of you is the sparkling, bright, and shiny result of what doing the work looks like, what it looks like on the other side of doing the work. She shows up, She doesn't play. She takes her time. You know, after repositioning the idea that it's you're the plug, and even what she has coming in her life, you know, what we manifested, what we created, what we put seeds into when she came to Africa, and what is coming. Hey, this is, you are looking at Ebony McGee, but soon it will be Dr. Ebony McGee, the herbalist. That is what we are looking at. That is what we are looking at. And so the mission, once you understand who you are, okay, life begins to change exponentially. So I give thanks, Goddess. I give thanks. I give thanks. I give thanks. Thank you so much. I love you always, always.
Thank you. Love you too.
So with that being said, I do not want to overextend my visit. I want to thank all of you for showing up for yourself, for taking this time to up-level your essence, your spirit essence, even your family, your lineage. And it is the witching hour over here, so that's why things are very potent and very juicy. I would have liked to take one more question, but if there are any other questions, you can always message me on Instagram. I'm more than happy to respond back. And if there's any way that I can assist you, if you would like to attend the retreat in Mexico, that is open to you. It is, I believe, the second week of March, or going into spring break, maybe the last week of March. I don't remember, but it is in Mexico. And we will be doing a lot of work around creating, you know, abundance, flow, femininity. We'll be doing a lot of body work. We're here. It's 2021. We're going into 2022. It's the golden age. So I give thanks for all of you. And Priestess Osun Funke, I thank you for having me.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Jamila, for joining us. If you would like to exit the call, you are certainly welcome to at this point. We really, really appreciate you. And I pray that the girls have taken copious notes and that they have any questions prepared. I will try my best to answer them. If not, you guys all have her social media and you can reach out and speak to her. As I said before, Jamila is one of my very close and dear personal friends. She's really, really good people. I know I don't allow advertising from outside sources in our groups, but this is one that you are definitely authorized to fuck with should you decide to. Okay. Um, I just have a couple of points that I wanted to kind of just jump up and down on that the Goddess Queen brought up. And so I'm going to do that now. Goddess, are you going to stay with us or are you going to go to sleep? I don't know if she's still here.
I think it says she left the room.
Okay, she did leave. Okay. Y'all give me 1 second. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. There were a couple of points that the goddess brought up that I want to just make sure that you guys understood. And I felt the need to reiterate them and just put my little 2 cents on. Okay. The first thing that I want to talk about is understanding that the debt has already been paid. Do y'all know what I mean by that? Your mothers and your grandmothers and your great grandmama and them and all of those beautiful Black women that came before you, that scrubbed toilets and scrubbed floors on their hands and knees and suckled white babies at their own breast and took care of white people's children and washed white ladies' panties by hand. Because my grandmother told me a story about that because she was a domestic worker. Okay. The Black women that came before you